my name's Janie. You probably don't know me, but something very special is about to happen. In 3 very short days, it is going to be the 1-year mark of the day I walked out of my job. So to start at the beginning, we start with my job. I hadn't planned on quitting. By the way, I just walked out. I didn't give 2 weeks, I didn't give anything. It just so happened that this Wednesday morning, enough burning desire to be something mixed with my boss's attitude and sent me straight out those doors, never to be seen again. So I've just quit my job. I'm sitting on my couch in my apartment. I was just thinking that there's no way I'm doing this until I die. There is no way. And I don't remember exactly what I said, but I was just thinking like, God, I know I can do this with your help. I know you didn't design us this way. You didn't design us to work 8 hours a day. You didn't design us to hate the world and not enjoy the planet you've created. So with your help, I know I can figure this out and just wing it and actually enjoy my life. And that's exactly what I did. And he has not let me down in the slightest. In the slightest, guys. Like, this last year, I could cry thinking about it. This last year has been so amazing and so eye-opening. I have experienced things that I know I would not have got to experience if I was still working that job. There is just so much like he is giving me because I put my faith in him and I put my trust in him, and it was the best decision I've ever made. So for the first 2 months, I didn't really do much. I sat around, watched a lot of movies, I wrote music, I made art, I traveled, and I just got used to not getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning every day and going to bed at 9 o'clock at night every day. I got used to spending time with my family. I got used to doing what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it, and it was amazing. After the 2 months, I had an idea that I wanted to take a train ride to anywhere. I didn't really care. I just wanted to ride a train because when I was a kid, we had a lot of things in just the way I grew up. We couldn't travel a lot. I've only been to, at this point, I had only been to a few different states, never out of the country. I've never been on a plane. I just wanted to ride a train somewhere. And so what better train than the California Zephyr? And this was a, 2,000-mile trip across the country to San Francisco, and I did it all by myself, and it was absolutely amazing. I'd never been to California before. California is like the coolest state ever. It is so sunshiny here. It is so different, just different than what I experienced my whole life in a tiny little sad town in Indiana. And so that trip did a lot for me. It taught me that nothing, and I mean nothing, is as big of a deal as we make it in our heads. You know, and it's like, no, like there is no need for that, especially when you have a relationship with God. Like, there is absolutely no need for that. Do you think he's standing up there pacing back and forth going, what are we gonna do? No, he's not, okay? And so, like, you just have to trust him. And if something goes wrong, he's allowing it to go wrong. There's a reason for it, a lesson to be learned, you know? And so, like, just don't put so much pressure on yourself to do things because it's unnecessary. So I took this, it was 3 days across the country on a train, and then I only booked 1 day in San Francisco, which I regretted after. So I booked 1 day there, and then it was another 3 days back, and it was just awesome. It was an awesome trip. It was amazing to realize that I could do anything by myself. I didn't need anybody to go with me. I didn't need parents to go with me. I didn't need any of that. I just needed faith in myself, faith in God, and I did it. And it was amazing. So after that trip, it was around December or something, and I'm still just doing my thing, enjoying having a life that I'm actually able to live, not having a job. So I'm still just doing art all the time, making videos, doing all kinds of stuff. And I was sitting in my living room painting one day, and a thought that wasn't my own just popped into my head, and it said, why don't you go to the RTR? And if you don't know, the RTR is get together for van lifers and people who live in their cars, or if you don't and you just want to meet people, it's a whole thing. I've been following it since I was like 13. It starts in January. At this time it was December something. And so that thought popped in my head, and I was like, why don't I go? And so this situation right here, this moment, this thing that happened is what really kicked off my journey with God and my faith in him. So a few weeks before I left for my trip, I was just talking to my mom. We were doing whatever we were doing, and I was talking to her and I was like, do you think it's crazy to like think that no matter what, God's got my back? Like, is that a crazy thought? Am I crazy? And she was like, no, I don't think so. Guys, that night I had a dream, okay? I was doing something and I walk outside and the sky is filled with rainbows. All kinds of different colors of rainbows, thousands of rainbows. So many rainbows, you couldn't even see the sky. It was the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, okay? What the dream was God telling me, like, he was answering my question to my mom. He was saying, I have your back no matter what. Like, no matter what, I've got you. You're gonna be fine, okay? And so that's a little backstory. So I leave for this trip. The morning I had left, I had spent like a month getting my car ready, building it out, making sure everything was fine because this was 1,800 miles across the country again. The morning I had left, it was like 5 a.m. and I turn on my car, everything goes fine, but I realized one of the headlights is out. And I was like, oh man, well, I'll worry about it later. I don't really drive at night, so it wasn't really a problem. So I drive for about 2 days straight. I get about 40 minutes from Quartzsite, Arizona, which is where the RTR is, which is where I was going. And I see a rainbow in the sky. And there's no rain, there's no nothing. It's those kind of rainbows that aren't a complete arch. They're just like a little like bubble in the sky or something. It was one of those rainbows. And that rainbow stayed there until the sun set, until the sun was gone. And after the sun was gone, I realized that my other headlight had went out. So I am on the road, no headlights, I cannot see, and I'm 30 miles from Quartzsite, okay? So I decided to just pull into a rest area. I was like, I'll just finish the drive tomorrow, it's no big deal, whatever, it stinks, but oh well. So I pull in there, I sleep, I wake up the next morning bright and early, sun shining, ready to go get the day, excited to be here. And I pull out of the rest area, I'm driving down the road maybe for 3 minutes, and smoke, and the steering wheel starts rattling, and so I pull off, and I had only been on the road 3 minutes, and I'm like, bro, what? I was not worried. I wasn't anything. I was like, I actually thought it was kind of funny, and so I'm just like laughing or whatever, and I call a tow truck, and they come and get me. I get a mechanic, but as I'm sitting in the tow truck, and I'm on my way to the rest of the way to Quartzsite, I realized that, number one, that rainbow was there. And both of my headlights had went out. If they hadn't have gone out, I would have been on the side of the road on New Year's Eve, and nobody probably would have been able to come get me because it was New Year's Eve. Nobody works on New Year's Eve. I was like, I see you, you know? And then the rainbow, he was telling me like it was gonna be okay. So like he's looking out for me, and I'm like, that's just so cool. So I'm in the tow truck, then we finally get to the place. He lets my car off the thing or whatever, and I find a mobile mechanic and who was working on New Year's, and he comes out, and the second I see this man, I know that like this is orchestrated by God somehow. Like I could just tell there was just something about this dude. Okay, so he comes out there and he tells me that I've blown my engine. I need a new engine. And he can do it, but it might take a minute. And so I'm like, all right. But this guy, I also realized through conversation, okay, he tells me that he lives in his camper. He's a mobile mechanic, and that's all he does. And I then later realized that, as he would call, he works for upper management. So like he works for God and everything. He just goes around and he helps people. I mean, he charges them, but like he charges them the lowest that he can in order to help them. Like he just works for God. And so this man just happened to fall into my lap. I just happened to get his number. We happened to meet. And long story short of the whole 2 months I was there, okay? I was there for 2 months. And this 2 months, I learned a lot about God, a lot about myself. But he said that I could camp with him. And I was like, okay. And so I didn't have to get a hotel room. I could stay in my car. We got to the point where he would drive me into town every single morning. And then most nights he would come pick me up and we would have dinner together, whatever. Anytime we were together, we were talking about God. He was teaching me about God, teaching me things that just opened my eyes and helped me see. It's just really amazing how God works sometimes. And so when I wasn't with Alvy, I would be walking around Quartzsite. I would be hanging out in restaurants, just trying to find something to do. during the day, so I wasn't just sitting around. And I would spend a lot of time thinking. And there was this one day, I remember I was in a Carl's Jr., which is where I spent a majority of my time. I was in a Carl's Jr., and I was just staring out the window, and I just felt it in my soul that I should get rid of all my stuff. And then probably the next day, I had the idea, hey, I should also get rid of my apartment. So it was in 2 days. I was like, I'm gonna get rid of everything I own, and I'm just gonna do the whole car thing. I had also had a dream around that time of, it was a spirit, it was a good spirit in the dream, and she told me to follow my heart. That same day, LV, I didn't tell him about any of this, we were just in the car, and he told me to make sure you always follow your heart, which was really cool. And so I knew that, like, and if anybody knows me, knows I love New York City. And I had only been there once, like a year before, and I loved it, and I wanted to go back. And so I got the bright idea to, after I get rid of all my stuff, go to New York City in my car. That's what I did. So I get home with a week left in the month. I get all of my stuff together. I give it all away to Goodwill. I give some to family, whatever. And then I get my car ready. I take out all the seats, I build the bed in there, everything that I need to do, and anything that didn't fit in my car, I gave away. And then I headed off to New York. Expensive. Way expensive. Like, I knew that, but like, I'm surprised they don't charge you to breathe the air there. Still love New York. Anywho, so I went to New York for a while, and then I came home to see my mom. I stayed home for about a month. So I'm just sitting there one day, and I feel it in my spirit that God wants me to go back to Quartzsite. And mind you, at this point, it was like June, or like a little bit before June, so it was hot. And Quartzsite is like the second hottest place on earth, with 120-degree days in the summer. My car only has one window that rolls down and does not have air conditioning. So when I felt that this is what God wanted me to do, I was like, you do realize that it's like 120 degrees there. And I'm like, but it's really hot there. Like, what do you mean you want me to go without air, and you want me to like go to the desert again? I was like, what? And so, but I was like, all right, okay, all right. And so I drive the 1,800 miles again back to Quartzsite. I meet up with LV, and he tells me that he rented this like RV park. There was an RV park that was closed, but he knew the guy who knew the guy, so they said he could stay there. So like it was just gonna be him there, because he hadn't moved in yet, but he had already paid for it. And he was like, you can stay there. I get there, and we're like looking at the place, we're looking at the property and everything. I'm like, and there's like a building on the property. I'm like, what is that? I bet you that's a room. And so he opens the door to 2 beds, a fridge, just this room. What? I was, you could imagine, okay, guys, I've been driving across the country for 4 days in the heat. I'm like sweating, I'm like fanning myself all the time, and I get to this place, and God has prepared for me a fully functioning room, a bathroom, a shower with laundry, a washer and dryer. Like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? Like, what? I was this, every single day that I was there, I was just like, you couldn't take the smile off my face. No way, not even if you tried. I was just absolutely amazed. I was there in Quartzsite again for about a month, and again, as I'm there, I'm sitting there thinking one day, and I just feel like I need to go to LA. And LA is a place I have never ever had a desire to go to in my life. I was like, California might be cool, sure, never going to LA. I don't care for all that crap, all that stuff's fake, it's demonic, it's, you know, all this kind of thing. I just felt it, you know, like, go to LA. And then I kept seeing a bunch of stuff on my feed about moving, and like, so I knew like this is where I was supposed to be. That's where I am now. I'm in an Airbnb in LA, and I don't know why I'm here yet. I still don't know what all of this has been about, but it is for something. If all my story does is inspire other people to have faith in him, then it's enough for me. I don't know, I hope it inspired you. I hope this has been the last year of my life, and it's been amazing. And so I'm very excited to see what else he has in store for me in the next year to come. Yeah, thank you for watching.